Alright, we're almost at the end of this monster of a video. So this is the last and final section of the books that I am really excited for. So we're going to start it off with this one, A House of Ghosts, which is a mystery by W.C. Ryan. And what really made me excited about it is that it is a finalist for the NBA Irish Book Awards Crime Fiction Book of the Year. We haven't known each other for very long, but I love Irish fiction. I actually did a minor in college in Irish studies, but a lot of it for me wasn't like history of Ireland or anything like that. I did do a couple of history classes and like some film classes, but the majority of my minor was just taking classes about Irish writers and Irish books, and yeah. Off the bat, that's something that I'm going to be really excited for. It was shortlisted for the Irish Book Awards, and it is called A Classic Cozy Big House Mystery Haunted by the Spectres of World War I for readers of Agatha Christie and Simone St. James. So they are putting them up there with some heavy hitters, and it just sounds really good. So winter 1917, as the First World War enters its most brutal phase, back home in England, everyone is seeking answers to the darkness that has seeped into their lives. At Blackwater Abbey, on an island off the Devon coast, armaments manufacturer Lord Highmount has arranged a spiritualist gathering to contact his two sons, both of whom died at the front. Among the guests, two have been secretly dispatched from the intelligence service. Kate Cartwright, a friend of the family who lost her beloved brother at the Somme, and who, in the realm of the spiritual, has her own special gift, and the mysterious Captain Donovan, recently returned from Europe. Top secret plans for weapons developed by Lord Highmount's company have turned up in Berlin, and there is reason to believe enemy spies will be in attendance. Then, when a storm descends, they find themselves trapped on the island. Soon, one of their number will die. For Blackwater Abbey is haunted in more ways than one. An unrelenting, gripping mystery packed with twists and turns and a kindling of romance, A House of Ghosts is the perfect cold weather read. I'm so excited for this one. Like, I have chills. That the back even is just so well written. Like, a lot of these I was reading the back and I felt like I was stumbling over the words because they were either too repetitive or like didn't say anything. But this one just and it's going to be published in October. The cover of this one didn't grab me too much just because it looks like any other kind of like haunted house mystery, but whatever. The storyline makes up for it. This next one is called The Liar's Daughter by Megan Cooley Peterson. It was published in September. It's got a terrifying cover. Piper knows that Father is a prophet, infallible, the chosen one. She would do anything for Father. That's why she takes care of all her little sisters. That's why she runs end-of-the-world drills. That's why she never asks questions, because Father knows best. Until the day he doesn't. Until the day the government raids the compound and separates Piper from her siblings, from Mother, capital M, from the aunties, capital A, from all of Father's followers. Oh, all of the fathers are capitalized. Even from Caspian, the boy she loves. Now Piper is living outside, among them, with a woman they claim is her real mother. But Piper knows better, and Piper is going to escape. Crazy. Like, crazy. And it's even cooler because the little about for her author thing is, as a teenager, Megan was part of a repressive cult-like doomsday church that didn't like to be questioned. She questioned anyway. That's amazing. Like, she's writing from a place of actually understanding the mentality that goes into this. Obviously, she was on the other end of the spectrum and actually questioned everything, whereas Piper doesn't seem like she's going to be doing much questioning at all until probably like the last third of the book, hopefully. But yeah, this came out in September. This is actually more of a teen book, so I don't read a lot of YA anymore, but it's for ages 14 and up. But the storyline in this means that I'm going to absolutely like tear through it when it's time to read it. I am really excited. I love stories about cults. Like con men and con women is the same kind of genre for me. So I'm really excited for this one, and it should be fun to get into. This next one is called The Law of the Skies, is by Gregoire Courtois, and it was translated by Rhonda Mullins. I don't love the cover on this one. It's kind of on the nose. It's a wood and then a bunch of blood in the middle, but like blood like no one's ever blood like that before. That is like some paintball pellet or like cartoon blood. Like, that's not real. Once upon a time, a class of 6-year-olds heads into the forest for a camping trip. The innocent children play games where they imagine monsters everywhere. The creaking of trees becomes a growl. The tree trunk becomes an ogre. But this fairy tale doesn't have a happy ending. Monsters really do exist. Accidents, illness, the murderous impulses of a classmate. One by one, happily ever after evaporates for the children and their chaperones as, one by one, like all nature's creatures, they must learn the laws of the skies. The author is from Canada, so that's why it was translated. It was originally in Canadian French, and I am going to see if I can't find the copy in French as well, because I think it's always interesting to read something in its first language if you can. The names are very like French/French Canadian. One of the characters' names is Océane, which is not something you ever hear in the US. But even just like down to the actual construction of the book, the pages are almost textured, and it's really beautiful, and I'm excited to kind of see how all of that story gets crammed into just this many pages. Fairy tale retellings or fairy tale reimaginings, twisted tales kind of deal, are something that I find really exciting, so I'm pumped to dive into this one. This next one is also translated from Canadian French. I found a little stand that had just like different Canadian publishers, and this is The Accidental Education of Jerome Lupien, and it's by Yves Beauchemin and translated by Wayne Grady. So this is what it looks like. Very saturated, very red, very kind of minimal, but like packs a punch. This is going to be published in December, on December 3rd. It says the school is unconventional, but the education is singular. Montreal student Jerome Lupien, libidinous, unscrupulous, and fresh out of university, is ambitious and at loose ends. Whether on a hunting trip into Quebec's northern woods, on an escape to Cuba, or seeking to make his way in Montreal, Jerome cannot help but be embroiled in escapades and underworld misadventures. He is conned by the devious, a hunting guide, a low-life car salesman, and ultimately a well-to-do political lobbyist profiting from the city's infamously corrupt partnership of politicians wielding remunerative contracts and the construction firms in cahoots. Long sentence. Didn't love that. The unwitting, though frequently culpable, young man is enrolled, whether he knows it or not, in an unconventional and criminal school, and the education is singular not only for Jerome, but also the reader. An extraordinary, full, and trenchant portrait of Quebec and the city of Montreal in all its topographical and class variety. The Accidental Education of Jerome Lupien is a biting piece of social satire that is a marvelous entertainment and a wonderfully traditional narrative, too. I was just saying how much I love stories about con men, and here we have another one. It just sounds really fun. This poor guy keeps getting into bad situations, but, you know, maybe he'll end up being a con man at the end of it because he's been taught in an unconventional school. So this next one is by a pretty well-known author, and it was published September 24th. Or will be published September 24th, depends on when I get this video up. Tenses are hard. So, first of all, look at that. It's hollow, which is fun. I feel like I'm having a like rave right now, but in the middle of the day. So this is by Alice Hoffman, and the title is The World That We Knew. It's beautiful. I love this kind of cover that is like, it's a soft feeling, like almost grippy, so that grabbed my attention right off the bat. I know like you're not supposed to judge things by their covers, but you kind of are. Like, that's why people have marketing departments. So it starts in Berlin in 1941. During humanity's darkest hour, 3 unforgettable young women must act with courage and love to survive. At the time when the world changed, Hani Kohn, C-O-H-N, knows she must send her 12-year-old daughter away to save her from the Nazi regime. She finds her way to a renowned rabbi, but it's his daughter, Eddie, who offers hope of salvation when she creates a mystical Jewish creature, a rare and unusual golem, who is sworn to protect Leia. Once Ava is brought to life, she and Leia and Eddie become eternally entwined, their paths fated to cross, and their futures linked. Leia and Ava travel from Paris, where Leia meets her soulmate, to a convent in western France known for its silver roses, to a school in a mountaintop village where 3,000 Jews were saved. Meanwhile, Eddie is in hiding, waiting to become the fighter she's always known she's destined to be. What does it mean to lose your mother? How much can one person sacrifice for love? In a world where evil can be found at every turn, we meet remarkable characters that take us on a stunning journey of loss and resistance, the fantastical and the mortal, in a place where all roads lead past the angel of death and love is never ending. It just seems like there's a lot happening in this book. Like, that one sentence where they're like, they moved from here to here to here to here. It starts in Paris, which I love, but then, like, suddenly this 12-year-old has a soulmate, and, you know, like, her golem is her friend, but, like, they sworn to protect her, and then there's a warrior, and I need to know how all of these things link together. Plus, it's a name that I recognize, and her previous book is The Rules of Magic, so she's really well versed in this kind of, like, magical realism, and I'm excited for it. And one last book, and then we've made it through this whole stack, which is incredible. So this is Beautiful Revolutionary from Laura Elizabeth Woolett. That's what it looks like. It's also very beautiful. It looks like it belongs in, like, Los Angeles. I don't know why that's what springs to mind for me, but it does. And you're gonna know right away why I'm really excited for this one. It was published in Australia in 2018 and in the UK and North America in 2019, but it doesn't give me any further information than that. The thrilling new novel inspired by the events at Jonestown in the 1970s. Like, I could end it there and that would be enough for me to be really, 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 really excited about this book. But let's read the rest. It's the summer of 1968 and Evelyn Linden is a woman at war with herself. Minister's daughter, atheist, independent woman, frustrated wife, bitch with a bleeding heart. Following her conscientious objector husband, Lenny, to the rural Eden of Evergreen Valley, California, Evelyn wants to be happy with their new life, yet she finds herself disillusioned with Lenny's passive ways and anxious for a savior. Enter the Reverend Jim Jones, the dynamic leader of a new revolutionary church. Meticulously researched and masterfully written, Beautiful Revolutionary explores the allure of the real-life, charismatic leader who would destroy so many. It follows Evelyn as she is pulled into Jones' orbit, an orbit it would prove impossible for her to leave. That is... It checks every box for me. Like, I'm so excited for this one. The fact that it's like claimed to be meticulously researched is so important because obviously Jonestown was like such a massive thing, and it's so important that these pieces get done correctly. It's really cool that she's playing with that idea as well, that like it is Jones, like Jim Jones is the reason that all these people were part of this. And yeah, like at first it was kind of this utopia, but he's the reason that they were all there and he's the reason that it went bad. So this one is split into 3 different sections. It also gives you a list of characters before you dive in. One more. This one is going to get its own review, as you can tell from all of the notes I have going on in this one, but this is Lily Barlow, The Mystery of Jane Doe by Carla Vergot, and it's the first in a planned series. So Lily Barlow, a quirky college student obsessed with the fictional bounty hunter Stephanie Plum, is called home from the University of Virginia to get the family's bakery running after her dad's heart attack. Stuck in a sinkhole of self-pity, she finds her sleepy hometown. Well, can a town actually be in a coma? No worries, all she needs to do is hire a bakery manager, and she's not even moving back in with her family for that part. Instead, she rents an efficiency garage apartment from Miss Delphine Walker, an old woman who Lily begins to believe may have killed someone at some point. Meanwhile, Lily's overactive imagination takes a swan dive when she discovers an online clearinghouse for victims the cops can't identify. Consumed with the profiles on the website, Miss Delphine, and the candidates for the bakery manager position, so she simply cannot cope with one more problem. So when Jack Turner, her best friend since kindergarten, reveals out of nowhere that he wants something more than friendship, what's a woman to do? This is also kind of one of those, like, it feels good in the hands. I love the cover. I love the idea. I love people being obsessed with true crime. So there's a lot going on here that I was really excited for, and I kind of put my first impressions on Instagram. So if you want to find me there, I am at Random Librarians, plural. I have a lot of thoughts on this one, so I'm not going to get too into what I was like worried about or what I was excited about, because I'm like halfway through the book, so I don't really remember, and just, you know, save it for a full review down the line. But you guys, we made it through all 20 books that I brought home with, or that I still have at home with me from the American Library Association conference. I'm really excited about most of these, you know, on a sliding scale. Let me know your thoughts and which ones you're most excited for in the comments below. And it probably will affect my order of reading them, which means that it'll affect my order of reviewing them on here and on Bookstagram. So I hope you guys will follow along with this journey, this reading journey, this reviewing journey of mine here on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button and liking and commenting and all of that good stuff. So that's all I have for today's video, and I will see you guys next time with some more random library stuff. Happy reading! Bye.